Digital 410 Productions proudly presents the What's in Your Head podcast.
Digitized live from the ACT Computer Studios in Cape Coral, Florida, it's the What's in Your Head podcast with your hosts Gordon and Don Abernathy.
What's up, OG5? It's a Monday and we're here. Happy holidays, yay. Woo! What's up, Gordon?
How was your holidays?
Wow.
Did you do anything special?
First and foremost, do we really need to celebrate Labor Day?
Nah, we just need not the labor.
Yeah, I guess. It wasn't too bad, I guess.
Go to the beach.
No.
Go downtown.
No. I'm
go
not.
Join the crowds.
Not in any way, shape, and/or form going to try to go to the beach on a holiday weekend. I mean, it's hard enough to get parking on Sanibel on a regular day, let alone a holiday. So we knew that was not even in the cards. And
go for a run.
I did that last night. Today I just sat around and I don't know, played some Call of Duty. Actually, no, I had to get up this morning and go to work. That's what I had to do.
You had to labor on Labor Day, huh?
Yeah, one of our clients, imagine that, internet went out. So I had to go out and fix that problem, but that got resolved semi-quickly.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, evidently the big news is Fremont Street, the Strip, especially Fremont Street, was very crowded. I actually saw some videos, and we'll talk about it a little later, and I'm sure we'll compare and contrast with what's going on at the beaches in Southwest Florida.
Were people angry and upset that people were out and about?
I think more than people in the media. Well, yeah, no, I just kind of chilled out. Our air went to complete shit because there was a new fire in San Bernardino, which we will talk about later in the news.
Is that the one that's caused by another gender reveal party?
Yep, that's the one we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I got that one. And it's so well, we'll save it because there's something interesting and semi-narcissistic about it. But yeah, we'll get to that later. But yeah, this is the second time that a gender reveal party is burnt down.
Yeah, so the air had just started clearing out. And lo and behold, we went into record temperatures this weekend of 113, 115. It's supposed to be 113 today, but I looked out the window and I couldn't see the mountains. And just to describe to you and maybe any of you what the lighting is like when you've got that much smoke in the air. If you've ever played Battlefield or Call of Duty when it's in the desert and it's really dusty and there's a white haze but an orange. For some reason, the sunlight on your skin looks like you're standing under a street lamp.
You mean like when they drop white phosphorus on you in Warzone?
Well, sort of like that. But I was thinking actually back to when we were in the desert in the Battlefield 1.
Oh, yeah.
So it's pretty crappy out there. So I stayed holed up in the house doing honeydew stuff all day.
What's up, Morgan Long? What's up, Amanda? Joining us from the Facebook live stream. What's up, Periscope listeners and YouTube followers and all that good stuff. I have never been one to steer away when I said something that wasn't correct. I didn't get to it on this show because, well, the answer was brought to my attention when I was doing research for the show, and I just realized I still got the plastic thing in my hat from when it's brand new. So Gordon got me into watching Cobra Kai, which was put out in 2018 on YouTube Red, which was a failed subscription paid service because YouTube thought people would want to pay for their programming. Imagine that, they didn't. And so Cobra Kai was put out. Now, do you ever watch the credits on that stuff?
I have not, no.
Will Smith is the executive producer of that show.
How many executive producers have you seen listed?
Well, I'm not surprised because if you remember on the Karate Kid remake, his son-ish, I don't know.
Jaden?
Yeah, but isn't Jaden kind of like toying with the... I don't know where to go with this. What's the pronoun for Jaden? Has he transitioned? Is he just still wearing dresses and having fun with that? But anyhow, Jaden was in the Karate Kid reboot, and so apparently Will Smith wanted to get involved in this. Maybe they needed his clout. Maybe he just liked the franchise. But I did notice that Will Smith's name was listed as one of the executive producers on the show, along with Ralph Macchio and a handful of other people. But I was watching it, and I got a little distraught, and I was like, oh, so they're rewriting history.
Actually, you were distraught to the point you called me about it.
Well, I was annoyed. I'm like, are they rewriting history on Mr. Miyagi? Because in the show, when he's rebuilding the dojo, not to give anything away, the show's been out since 2018, they show a Congressional Medal of Honor. And I was like, wait a minute. Mr. Miyagi was from Okinawa. He was an Okinawan. And I believe, if I remember correctly, in Karate Kid the movie, there's a scene where he's drinking and pining over his wife and drinking
Yes.
sake. And I could have sworn that he was wearing a Japanese soldier uniform. So tonight, when I went to go do the show prep, I Google searched Karate Kid Mr. Miyagi drunk. And it's on YouTube. It's called The Bonsai Scene. And I was wrong. He is wearing a wool army shirt from the Allies. He was a corporal. And now it's kind of hard to tell because his left shoulder is facing away from the camera, and that's where you wear your division patch in World War II and modern day. If you ever have a patch on the right shoulder, that's the previous division they were assigned to. So if you get transferred into a new division, your original division patch goes from your left shoulder to your right, and your current division patch goes on your left. And I noticed he had the presidential citation award on his chest. And I was like, well, that's pretty interesting. And then briefly, for a quick second, he turned his shoulder, and I paused it, and I kind of saw the color of his division patch, and so I quickly got to looking into it. And lo and behold, according to the movie, Mr. Miyagi was a member of the 442nd Infantry Regiment Division, which was basically the first Army regiment that was completely apprised of what we call ISI, or second-generation Japanese people who were born outside of Japan. What a lot of people don't realize, and yes, this is breaking a little bit of the episode of What's the Scuttlebutt, is during Pearl Harbor, Japanese immigrants made up a primary of the population of Hawaii. There was actually more Japanese and second-generation Japanese than there were Caucasians on the island. And
Really?
yes, and at the time, the Hawaiian National Guard was predominantly Japanese heritage citizens, and which is kind of part of the reason why Hawaii and California really jumped into the whole internment camp so quickly, is because they had such a large population on those two coasts, and they were concerned about, information getting back to Japan. But that's neither here nor there. And so, yes, I did some research, and interestingly enough, I have been reading this book called Rising Suns, and it's about the 442nd. And just a brief history, the 442nd Infantry Regiment was an infantry regiment of the United States Army. The regiment is best known for its history as the fighting unit composed almost entirely of second-generation American soldiers of Japan ancestries, otherwise known as Nisi, who fought during World War II. Beginning in 1944, the regiment fought primarily in Europe, the European theater, and particularly in Italy, southern France, and Germany. Many soldiers from the continental United States had families in internment camps while they fought abroad. The unit's motto was "Go for broke." Now, once again, the Hawaiian National Guard is already made up of a majority of these cats. And then after the war broke out, there was no more Japanese Americans were allowed to enlist. So they cut them off. But after the war began to progress on, we realized we needed people. A lot of the young men who were in the internment camps, their only options were to stay in internment camps or go fight. And they were really patriotic, and they wanted to show other American citizens that, hey, we're just American as you are.
This
Our
is
family.
our chance to step up and put our money where our mouth is.
Correct.
So
Our family left Japan for a reason. So we have, and I was born here. I have no, historical ties. Now, so that was pretty interesting to see that the movie is giving a little history if you were to do your research, because they never bring any of this up in the movie. And like I said, the regimental patch is only on the screen for like half a second. You have to pause it and it's all blurry. But I did find one more thing, interestingly enough, and as we said, he had a Medal of Honor. Private
Yes.
First Class Sando Marana was the only Nisi soldier to be awarded the Medal of Honor prior to 2000. So that movie came out in 84. So even if Mr. Miyagi was a real person and did serve, he would have never won the Medal of Honor, because at that point, only one person had won. Now, they said prior to 2000 because when Bill Clinton got in office, a lot of the people from the War Department and historians went to him, and he pushed through a lot of well-deserved Medal of Honor for Japanese ancestries who fought for the Americans, who, were actually written up for citations to get the Medal of Honor, but most of them were knocked down to Bronze Stars. because of the fact that no one wanted to give them to, Japanese ancestry. I will say the cool thing I did learn, reading through this book real quick when I was looking at this, is I was saying they got the Presidential Citation Award. The 442nd actually won 7 of them. And you're saying, well, what exactly is the Presidential Unit Citation? It was originally called the Distinguished Unit Citation. It's awarded to units for their uniformed service in the United States and those of allied countries for their extraordinary heroism and action against the armed enemy on or after December 7, 1941. And so basically, these guys kicked so much ass in the 442nd that their unit won 7 of these citations from the president. And so it's kind of a little cool thing that they included Mr. Miyagi into that. And obviously you can say, well, the Medal of Honor thing was kind of showing that these guys went out and above to help fight for their country. And so that little, my misconception of what I thought I saw is kind of like the whole, wasn't Sinbad in a Shazam movie that never existed, the whole Mandela effect? For some reason, I could have sworn I saw him in that scene wearing a Japanese uniform, but I was wrong. Because I took 5 minutes to go back and look today, I, was reminded about the 442nd. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, wasn't the Statue of Liberty in a different location? Wasn't the whole Mandela effect thing is kind of interesting? Wasn't Oscar Mayer spelt differently? Flintstone spelt differently?
I never heard anything about the Statue of Liberty. What's that one?
There's not much that I've looked into it yet. I just heard it mentioned recently and thought it was kind of interesting. So now I want to go back and go down that rabbit hole. It looks like you definitely did some exhaustive research on Mr. Miyagi. My question is, though, what did you actually think? Okay, we have expectations of sequels, especially when a sequel is a television show made after a movie. But the fact that it's been 30 some odd years between, what's your thoughts on it?
I thought season 1 was really, really good. They did a real good job of taking the original footage and rendering it up to HD. And kind of doing a green screen effect with it so that it fits into the new show quite well. I really enjoyed the fact that they went with a theme. I did find it a little silly that Johnny's character is so dedicated to the 1980s generation that even in 2018 he had no idea what the fuck Facebook was. That was a little hard to
that was
swallow.
hilarious. That was like such a grandpa role.
I know, but now the interesting thing is when the show came out, the dude was 53 when he filmed that show. He's 54 now. No, he's 52 when he filmed that show. But it's like, come on, at that point, unless you don't watch the news, I mean, Facebook in 2018 was all over the place. I love the fact that he had old CRT 19-inch TV, but all of a sudden he goes out and buys a 53-inch flat screen. But I get it.
I was looking at the car he was driving, and I was wondering if that was the car that he drove in the original movie.
I don't know. I did like how
that's like an 80s model-ish Fire Chicken.
Was it a Fire Chicken or Camaro? I thought it was a Camaro.
I think it was a TA, actually.
Oh, really? I did think it's funny how they showed him hanging his arm out the door, and you could see like where the clear coat was all destroyed on the door from years of having his arm hang out the window because he couldn't afford air conditioning.
And not only was he not up to date at current technology, he was so 80s he still had a tape deck in his car.
A tape deck, and like I said, he had the 19-inch CRT TV, which was kind of funny. And
it was all butt rock.
Yeah.
All day long. So I thought that was good. I thought they did a good job. I was a little annoyed with, and I'm not, it's 2 years old. I'm going to just say it. Kreese coming back.
Yeah, I was a little.
It was just a little much.
Well, I was going to say, I'm only 3 or 4 episodes into season 2, and I think the writing did get a little lazier. Just some of the things they're doing. She's like, really? We're going on that road?
Yeah, but you know what? They're going to set some background for some future stuff. I think there's a little bit of a relaxation on this one up front, and then it kind of gears up near the end. So stick with it. I also watched The Boys this weekend.
I was going to watch that earlier today, but I did not get around to it.
I watched 3 episodes, and they said all new episodes on Friday. So I don't know if they released 3 at once or it's been out for 3 weeks. But it looks like it's not all at one shot. It's going to be a weekly deal.
I was watching that show, Sharp Objects, on HBO, which was pretty interesting. I think it's 2 seasons. I just finished. No, it was 1 season so far. Amy Adams is in that. It's pretty interesting, dark show. Makes you wonder a lot about the writer who wrote the book, because there's some pretty crazy shit in that show. But that's a good one, especially for the ladies. If you're a big fan of like, I don't want to say, well, I guess true crime, but it's very dark murder mystery type. Little touch of Flowers in the Attic for you. There's all kinds of craziness going on, and so that's a pretty good one too. So, beginning of the show, I'm a little annoyed, a little frazzled. I'm in here getting shit done like we always do. And my shirt keeps changing colors, as Gordon points out. And I hear
hypercolor.
yeah, right. 1994 called, wants their shirt back. I hear a very annoyed cries coming from throughout the house.
Okay.
And I'm like, what the hell's going on? It's like 15 minutes before we go on. Apparently, I don't know if I still have the apparently kid up. Oh yeah, here we go. So Carrie is watching TV, and little Bailey Boo's up on the bed, burping and farting as Boston Terriers are apt to do. And she expels Gargothan from her mouth onto the bed for plop.
Ugh.
It's a mixture of grass, dog food, and cat shit because, well, you can't keep a dog out of a litter box. Prior to Bailey, I have a baby gate in there with a little hole, which was Tucker was too big to fit into, so that kept him out of the litter box. But when you got a Boston Terrier that's the size of your cat's, that's nowhere to be rectified. And you think, well, why don't you do something with the cat litter box? That would be great, except for the fact I have a blind cat now. And so I was
just up the difficulty level.
Yeah, because I was just going to put a board in front of it, and that way the cats can just jump on top and then jump down and problem solved. But with a blind cat, that's not an option. So that is what it is. I was, interestingly enough, while driving to work, listening to the Comedy Channel on Sirius Satellite, and there's a comedian talking about how when he was a manager of Petco, he learned about the dietary restrictions of cats, dogs, how to take care of cold-blooded animals, goldfish, this, that, and the other thing. But as a manager of Petco, the only question people ever had for him when they came in were, how do I keep my Labrador from eating cat poop? He said, interestingly enough, Petco has a product for that. It's a pill. But you don't give the pill to the dog, you give the pill to the cat. Makes her shit unpalatable.
Really? I didn't know there was something so nasty a dog wouldn't touch it.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. I don't know what it does, but...
And the question is how's it going to make the litter box smell?
Well, the question is if you got 4 cats, how much does this shit cost, and how much of a pain is going to be to shove down the gullet of 4 cats, and how often you got to do it?
There's the problem in your math right there.
Yeah.
4 cats.
4 cats, 1 dog. What's up, Bill Howard? Thanks for joining in. What's up, Nick?
So maybe you could teach Bailey Boo how to be a service animal to a blind cat.
She does really well with him, and I went to drop off or pick up a computer from a longtime customer of mine who had 2 Boston Terriers. One of them passed away. The other one's older than Tucker was. He's blind, and the one eye he has left. And Bailey went over and was real nice to him and sniffed him and this and that. But I think, she was really good with him. Didn't jump all up and get all too bad up in his grill. And he kind of seemed excited to have another dog butt to sniff around. So anyhow, Carrie does what people do when your dog vomits up cat poop, dog food, grass surprise in your bed. You quickly pull up the sheets and throw them in the washing machine. Not a big deal.
But
she puts a new comforter on the bed and sits down and goes to watch TV.
But here's the other shoe.
Where's the controller at?
I can see this happening.
Fuck. Runs into the washing machine, pulls out the blankets, and it's wrapped inside. Now, luckily, the thing's only been in there for 3 minutes, but this is one of these newfangled 3 years ago we moved into it. They're on like version 4 now, but it's one of the voice activated ones. And real nice. I haven't typed the number in on my controller since I lived here. I couldn't tell you what number. I just say Velocity channel, please. That's the only channel I watch.
Can we talk about voice activated remotes real quick?
Sure.
Just real quick. Ours was great with Dish, and then they changed to Google, and it fucked it all up.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, because Google sucks, especially
why?
Because they want that Google branding, they want that Google money, and they want all the other invasive stuff that comes along with Google products.
Big brother.
And so now the controller's not working. We'll put in a bag of rice. We don't have any rice. What's rice going to do? Why do I sound like Seinfeld? I said, well, rice is where you put your phones when you drop them in the toilet, but we don't have any rice because the rice we get is pre-portioned. It comes with the Rebby plate boxes. And so we don't have a box of rice sitting around.
Did you have a whole bunch of those bags of silica packs you could have thrown in there?
No, I throw those away because those are, those will kill a
Poison.
dog. And I was like, well, just use the remote control from the other TV. Of course, it's not programmed because it's 2 different boxes. In the living room, you got your big DVR box. And then in our bedroom, you have the next step down, which you can watch the DVR, but all that shit's stored on the one out here in the living room. Then in Nugget's room, we got the base model. Can't even watch the DVR stuff. And I went to go get her new cable box, but because COVID, imagine that, Comcast's retail stores are closed down. No, it's just an excuse not to hire and to employ people. And so you close your fucking stores down. So that's that. So what I end up having to do is to take the cable box from the living room, put it in our bedroom, and vice versa, because the remote control don't work, which is something we've been wanting to do for a while, because for some reason, even though in our bedroom we have the upgraded cable box, on some channels that aren't in HD, it doesn't upspan. It's still fucking small. But the one in our the major box that's in our living room does. So long story short, if I go to watch Barnwood Builders in my bedroom, it's like I'm watching an analog one, where half my TV's black. If I go watch the same DVR copy on my living room, it's full screen because of the different cable box. So it's something we've been wanting to do for a while. Only time we watch TV in the living room because the birds constantly screaming is whenever we're cooking dinner anyhow. So I had to switch that out. Well, then the internet goes out. Motherfucker, I got a podcast to do here in 4 minutes. Apparently,
Yeah, right.
in the living room behind where the main box is, for some reason, I don't know if it's a power injector, I don't know what the purpose of it is, but there's a little black box that plugs into your outlet that the coax cable goes into. And if that thing's not plugged in, your internet will not work, even though the modem's in here. I don't know why.
Kind of CT. I don't know.
One time my internet went out and Comcast came, and of course I was up there running a wire. Well, you knocked it out. No, I didn't. I'm running Cat 5 cable. I do this shit for a living. It turns out the power injector behind, told you, Dick, the power injector behind my TV had taken a shit. So apparently when I was unplugging the cable box, that fell out. So anyhow, I finally got everything back up, and I was wanting to add a
How
new...
much time has gone by?
It took me
More than
10 minutes to swap the cable box, plug the power injector in, but with these new fangled internet modems, they're more than just a modem, so it takes 38 days for these damn things to reboot. That's why it always sucks to reboot your cable modem, because they're small computers. So I had to wait for all that crap to come back up.
Did cries come throughout the house that the internet went down at that time?
Stupid suggestions, but it may just dumb enough to work. Yeah, right? Do you have an extra bathtub in use? Maybe just put the litter box in there. No, we only have... I got a garden tub, which I'm not putting a litter box in. That's where I soak in after my long runs. And then Nugget has her own bathtub. I sure as hell don't want her in mine. So no. And plus, that's just because the litter box has been where it's been for 3 years. Having the blind cat once again, I would rather have my dog eat shit than have my cat pissing on the house. So the litter box will stay where it is for the time being. And then, God forbid, once Loki crosses the Rainbow Bridge, we'll go down other avenues, but sadly at that point, Pity's going to be so damn old, I don't know what to do. Anyhow, so that's all that. Cable boxes are moved, and then because of all this negative space, because we're poor here, if you guys would like to see these boxes stretched out to the full-size screen of your YouTube and Facebook channel, head over to d-410.com and sign up for Patreon. It's $1 a month, and we get enough of those. I will actually pay the $9 a month for the upgraded Zoom. But right now, after paying for all the other crap that we do to get the show on, that's why the boxes are so small, and you have this big black area right here. Interestingly enough, whenever we have Bill or somebody else on, it rearranges them and it takes up the whole screen. But there's no way for me to resize these windows right here because we are on the free version of Zoom and it's not quote-unquote HD. So if you want to help out, you're tired of looking at these small boxes, head over to d-410.com, click on that Patreon link. And while we're at it, let's pay the bills. Gordon, I'm happy to announce, you don't know this, we have a new spot. We have a new advertiser.
Fantastic.
Here we go. It's 2020. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Unemployment's at an all-time high. There's riots and looting in the street. Properties being burnt down. Cars being destroyed. You don't know if you're going to be able to pay your rent, your car payment. Concerned how you're going to take care of your family? Where can you get some money? That's where we come in over at Import Export Steve's Semi-Precious Metal Extraction Company. That's right, you may not be aware, but you are surrounded by semi-precious metals. So in this time of strife, when you're worried about paying your bills, give us a call and we will come out and extract your semi-precious metals for 40 cents on the dollar. Unable to make your mortgage? About ready to move out? Leave it all behind? First, give us a call and allow us to come send our experts over to extract all that precious copper from your walls. We will give you 40 cents a dollar in a market rate. Simply give Import Export Steve's Semi-Precious Metal Extraction Group a call at 239-232-4419. Can't make that card payment? About to have it repossessed? Simply give Import Export Steve's Semi-Precious Metal Extraction Group a call at 239-232-4419. And we will come extract that semi-precious metal out of that catalytic converter for 40 cents on the dollar of the current market value. Simply give Import Export Steve's Semi-Precious Metal Extraction Group a call at 239-232-4419. And I just want to thank the fine people over at Import Export Steve's Semi-Precious Metals for sponsoring the show and buying some advertisement. And if you're at home watching and you want to advertise your business over here on the What's in Your Head podcast or any of the podcasts at the Digital 410 Network, simply send us an email to info@d-410.com. And while we're at it, Act Computers not only sponsors the show, sponsors the studio, sponsors all of our podcasts, they have been providing IT solutions for all of Southwest Florida since 2004. So whether it's computer repair, network management, cameras install, wiring up your buildings, which we've been doing a lot of lately, they can help you out. Give them a call at 239-283-1120. If you need online backups for your computers, your QuickBooks machine, or any valuable information, give them a call at 239-283-1120. They can help you with online backups at 7 cents a gig per month. And if you have employees working from home or you yourself are working from home and you're worried about your network getting hacked because you're using Windows default remote desktop, which I wouldn't do, give them a call and they will help you with two-form authentication. Much like Google, the first time you log into your Google account from another computer, your phone goes off, says, hey, is this you? Act Computers can implement the same thing on your server or your work computer so that if someone tries to remote into it, your phone goes off, you have to say, yes, it's me, and then they'll allow a connection. If you say no, no mas, they won't get in, and your network is secure. Give them a call at 239-283-1120. And as always, if you don't live in Southwest Florida, they can still help you remotely by going to their website. They'll instruct you on what to do. They can remote into your computer and help you with all your computer problems. Give them a call or go to act-capecoral.com. One more, Gordon. One more advertisement. Introducing the Greenmark Prepaid Visa Credit Card, the most widely used prepaid Visa credit card when it comes to scamming rubes on the internet.
Thanks to the Greenmark card, I was able to settle my tax code violations with the IRS with one easy transaction of $699. No lawyers, no accountants. What a great deal. And Greenmark card made it so easy. Thanks, Greenmark card.
Greenmark invests its own money to help you save up for the future by paying you an unlimited 4% cashback bonus when you make an online purchase. But keep in mind, if you're dumb enough to prepay for a car off of Facebook Marketplace before you see the car or even get the title, that shit's on you, and we offer you no protection.
Wait, no protection at all?
That's right. The Greenmark card is the preferred choice by desperate Middle Easterners looking to rip off naive American senior citizens.
When my grandson called me in a pickle and explained that he was on a missionary trip to Africa, lost his wallet, and his wife took ill, I was able to help him out in a jiffy, thanks to the Greenmark card.
So why not join hundreds of thousands of unsatisfied, ripped-off Greenmark users who think they're internet savvy but still find themselves preloading hundreds of dollars onto a Greenmark card at 3 a.m. in a local Walmart?
When I got that email from someone I didn't know, warning me that they captured me in photos looking at certain websites that may or may not have been porn, and that if I didn't pay them $500, they would share them with everyone I know in my contact list. Well, it was a godsend to know that Greenmark was there, and I was able to pay them off with no paper trail. Thanks, Greenmark.
The Greenmark card. It's the number one choice by internet scammers and hackers worldwide when it comes to ripping off naive Westerners. We here at Greenmark know this, but take no action to protect you, our clients. After all, we still get our beaks wet.
Whoa, 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 what?
The Greenmark card. Get it where all fine prepaid credit cards are available. Suckers. The Greenmark card is not responsible for any fraudulent or moralist engagements between a second and or third party when used to pay for any goods, services, actions, or sexual deviancies. Now to go into a new segment, or an old segment we used to do, it's going to be Tech Tips with from our friends at Computers. There's a new scam going out. We've all are aware of the Microsoft scan where they call you, hey, your computer's letting out viruses. We need to log into your machine. Okay, well, that's a scam. Amazon. This is the new Amazon scam. I know somebody got a phone call 2 days ago. Hey, this is Amazon. Are you trying to buy a iPhone for $783 in Dayton, Ohio? Why, no, I'm not. Well, what we need to do is have you verify your username. Click. Person hung up on them. Logged into Amazon, looked for any purchases, attempted purchases, didn't see anything. This is what, bottom line, it doesn't matter if it's Amazon, Microsoft, your bank. I know they're doing this with Netflix. If you ever get an email or a phone call from someone stating they're from your bank, Netflix, Amazon, whatever, they need you to verify information, delete the email, never click on the hyperlinks, hang up, and then go log in to that service like you normally do. Do not use the link in the email because it's going to take you to a website that looks like your bank, but it's not. Don't give anybody any information over the phone. Go to that service provider the way you normally do. Log in, go to contact us, call them directly using your phone. And as this person was told, no, it's a scam. There was no one tried to buy a iPhone. We have no information showing that we denied a payment. We don't call, blah, blah, blah. But if this person wouldn't have hung up and would have gave these quote-unquote Amazon people on the phone their username and password, guess who would have bought a fucking Amazon iPhone and many, many other objects in the next few days? So if anybody ever calls you claiming to be from wherever that you've been scammed, say thank you for letting me know, hang up, and then call them directly using normal sources, because then you don't get ripped off, because that's how these people are doing it. It's so insane.
That happened to us recently. Katina got a call from Dish. The guy was saying, there's been terms or some shit change. We need $250. It'll be cut off. She hung up on him, turned around and called the fraud division. And they're like, yeah, this is something that is definitely going on out there. So just be mindful.
Well, and the thing I heard about the Netflix is the Netflix saying, go ahead.
A lot of times we want to F with these people.
Yeah.
But even then you got to be careful, you know.
Well, and the thing is, too, like they say with the Netflix, if you don't pay us, your Netflix service is going to get cut off.
Fine,
cut it off, and then I'll call and fucking reissue it then. I mean, if you can't get a hold of somebody, you're tired of waiting on hold, and you're concerned, if you're not sure it's a scam, wait the 72 hours they're threatening you with. If your shit doesn't turn off, guess what? It's a scam. If it does turn off, then log into Netflix and go to add new card and put a new card in. But yeah, definitely don't buy into that.
And unfortunately, the people who fall for this is going to be elderly.
Yeah, because they're not tech savvy, quote unquote.
That is correct. So saw something weird this weekend.
Okay.
Actually, I did give you a call about it. And I was wondering if you've seen something like this. I was pulling out Saturday morning after picking up some breakfast and going to go turn right. Guy's coming up the sidewalk. He's moving pretty quick. He's wearing a nice Real Tree T-shirt, and he's got a floppy desert hat on. He's got his cell phone holstered on his waist. He's got his khaki shorts, and he's carrying a riot baton in full extended position. Yeah. Guy's about, I'd say, probably late 50s, early 60s. Dude is full on walking down the street with a riot baton, and there's nothing obviously going on where I'm at, except for homeless people. Maybe that's what it's all.
If he was like in exercise attire, I would make the suggestion, because I've seen it around here where you'll see older people who are out exercising. They'll have a golf club or like a baseball bat or a large stick, something that doesn't quite look as like a weapon, but you can tell they're nervous about walking around in society without some sort of weapon. So, but the fact that he's wearing a floppy hat is like, oh shit, I'm waiting for my Antifa. Oh.
Was he giving chase to somebody I did not see that may have been on his property?
Maybe he was giving chase to somebody no one can see, and the dude's just fucking nuts.
Well, you know, you do have a lot of that.
You know, it's sad.
Sure.
I often have, especially now with my appreciation for veterans in World War II, I have flashbacks. I used to, when I lived in Grove City, I went to Park Street Middle School, and we used to be right there on a main thoroughfare, i.e. Park Street. And of course, when you're in 6th and 7th grade, you don't think things through. You just think people are just laugh. You just laugh at them, call them cute. There was an old guy. I say old now, but he was probably maybe in his 60s. Clearly, he had to have been a World War II vet, because I don't know. I guess he could have been a World War I vet at that point. But he would walk down the street every day with a broom over his shoulder, basically marching in step as if he had a gun slung over his shoulder, where he's basically reliving his glory days when he was in the service. And off in combat apparently, because every day he'd just march down the sidewalk by himself with just like a broom or a piece of 2x4 or something over his shoulders, marching in step.
As crazy as that would seem to a young Don,
Mm-hmm.
or even a young Gordon, or a young TJ, or even possibly young Nick or Morgan, I give the guy props because he's out there getting fucking exercise.
Exactly, and and I say the same thing whenever I see clearly overweight people out jogging or walking down the street. I'm like, fucking go get it. You're out here, man. Look around. No one else is out here but you. So just go get it. Don't worry about what people thinking. Just go get it. Do it. Same thing when anytime I see anybody exercising, like when I'm running down the street. I went running downtown yesterday. Only did 4 miles because I tried to PR my first mile, and I think I ran a sub 8-minute mile. I can't remember. I didn't even check, but I basically blew my load too quick, and so I had to. My second mile was hurting, and my second mile was over the Edison Bridge, which is a bitch too. So when I got to mile 3, my pace really slowed down. But let's see here. But yeah, when I'm running over the bridge, I'm seeing people come the other side. I'm just like giving them thumbs up, like, you go get it, man. Do it to it. I don't know, my mile 1 was an 8:33. I did 8:33, a 10:24, 10:26, and 11:28. Now the 10:24 and the 10:26 were over the Edison Bridge. So you guys want to laugh at that? You can kiss my ass because that's a big ass bridge.
So speaking of not giving a fuck, as a guy that age should be, have you ever thought? And I do apologize for the cough in the mic. That our parents and older generations at our age, in the 40s, unfortunately now closer to 50 than 40, give a more shit about the way they look now than they did in the past.
Oh,
And
absolutely,
their parents.
absolutely. You can
Yeah,
just
because you think it was all polo shirts and
well, not
you
only
know.
that, but I'm sure I haven't done the numbers. I'm sure prior to COVID, when the economy was great, I'm sure plastic surgery numbers were through the fucking roof.
oh yeah, God.
And if they didn't
go
give
to
a
the-
shit, they wouldn't be spending money on face. I've known a few people in the last 5 years who've gotten their face pulled back. I know people who have chin implants and breast implants and all that stuff. So yeah, absolutely.
Just even in the style of clothes. I mean, we all dress like teenagers still, pretty
Oh
much.
yeah, absolutely. Well, it all depends on what year you're born, but yeah, there's definitely everybody gets to. You can tell what generation people are from because a lot of people they get their fashion style stops at a certain year. Like I'll be going through Facebook and seeing girls I graduated high school with, and they still got the shrub on their head. It's like, well, really,
Although,
you're holding on to
I
1997?
Although I think when you get to a certain age, maybe it's 70, you buy those really ugly blue fucking pants that wear all the way up. I still see that going on.
Well, you got to keep in mind though, they're probably not even 70. You're thinking of the 80 and 90-year-old cats.
Mm-hmm.
World
I
War
still
II.
see those pants for sale.
Well, World War II. When I wear my World War II reenacting gears, my pants are pulled up over my belly button because that's the way they wore them back then. So when you see these 90 and 80-year-old cats with the pants pulled up high, that's because that's the way they wore them.
So how much bigger would your waist be if that was your real waist?
Well, then it's funny you say that because the zipper on those fucking pants are like that goddamn long. I mean, they're super long. They've got like an 8-inch long zipper on them because you wore your pants up so high.
It's still not long enough. Yeah.
Well, you can.
It's
I'll
just
tell you this right now. You can run a hell of a lot better wearing pants when they're pulled up that high because compared to trying to run where the crotch of your pants is 8 inches below your actual physical crotch, and you're just like running with a sheet wrapped around you. So yeah, I mean, and you kind of see that. You'll see some of the older ladies who are wearing some styles that are kind of 80s and 90s. It's just everybody
my
gets
God,
stuck
yeah.
at a certain generation. It's weird.
Well, yeah, and even with the kids, the younger generations, even 30s now wearing gym shorts that's straight up out of the 80s.
I mean, I can't talk shit. I got senior year photos of me wearing a girl skateboarding hat, a World
Yeah.
Industry skateboarding shirt, a blue Eisenhower jacket by Plan B, and a pair of jeans. My high school casual photo looks exactly like how I'm dressing right fucking now, just 27 years later.
Pretty much. At least we're not stuck listening to Butt Rock.
TJ Bowen said he's still stuck on the pill that makes cat shit less palatable for dogs. I'm going to have to find out what that pill is. I mean, it was a comedian. He could have been making the whole thing up, but I think I might have heard about that before. I don't know. It's got to make it. I don't know what do you think it make?
Is there such dogs?
I mean, shit's shit. I mean, but I don't know. I don't know.
When we lived down at the river,
Yep.
we'd occasionally get a dead road or dead
Mhm.
critter, whatever.
That's good eating.
And
right
I
there.
swear to God, Maggie May would roll in that dog or in that dead animal. And I'm unaware, and I'll sit down, and she like to get right up in my grill and rub her scent all over
Look
my
who's got
face
the
for some
COVID.
reason. And it would be I'd be like, what stinks? You fucking stink. I'd run out there. I'd run out to the yard, and there's a dead raccoon. Okay,
Blech.
there's a shovel. I had to get the shovel, and I'd literally wing it from the front yard over the road into the fucking river. Just get rid of it.
Every town, every city, every state has their what we like to call their tax funding budget street. You know, the street, the one just happens to be under construction every goddamn year in perpetuity, even though they got the construction done last year. And you
Are
hear
the traffic weenies posted up on this?
and you hear the old timers say, "Oh, it's because if they don't spend that money, they don't get the budget money next year."
Yeah.
People often say that that's what Interstate 75 is to Erlanger, Kentucky. That's always under construction.
Right.
I want to give a shout out to the fine people at the Cape Coral City Council who thought it would be a good idea to re-kickstart our tax budget loophole, which is called Del Prado Boulevard. There's a stretch of Del Prado that runs in front of the hospital, in front of a middle school, and an elementary school. And even though that school's been out since last year at spring break and just started 2 weeks ago, they decided what a great time to rip up the medium and replant the trees they've already planted 8 times. So now when you're driving down Del Prado, which by the way, there's at least 4 accidents on every goddamn day, and it's time for parent pickup because, well, here in Lee County, you can choose what school you want to go to, which is fine, except for they don't put a limit. So you can live in fucking Bonita Springs and have your parents drive you to Cape Coral, which is fine too, except for the fact that it creates a whole bunch of traffic, and we don't have enough buses to accommodate that. So a lot of these parents go sit in parent pickup for 2 hours, which creates a bottleneck and traffic jam. So now you have an area in front of the school, another school, and a hospital where all the ambulances go to pick up all the people who have accidents on Del Prado 3 times a fucking day. And it's down to 2 lanes on one side because, well, we got to have a place to park all of our equipment and rip all the curbing out, rip all the concrete, all the dead plants, the palm trees we've planted 6 times in the last 10 years. Instead of doing it, 3 months ago when nothing was going on, when we were in the middle of COVID and the tourism was down, school was out, traffic was gone. Construction has been called, what's that fancy term we've been kicking around for the last 6 months?
Essential, and thank God it has.
Yeah, construction's been essential, so why wouldn't you do that then? Why wait until the very first week of school and parent pickup to go tear up the goddamn road and put up cones? It's just dumb.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of it had to do with plannings and things wasn't designed. However, that you are talking about that, and you know the companies are really to own or be a part of is these road construction companies, because you'll go through, they'll make a nice road. Oh fuck! Now we got to do the sewer. Go through, rip it up, redo the sewer. Oh crap! Now we got to redo the gas lines. Go through, rip it up, redo the gas lines, over and over and over and over. And those guys are just sitting fat and happy, going, "Yep, we'll go back and fix it. It's only money."
Yep.
Yes, you know. Yeah, it's a little bit like a scam.
You know, because they're so tightwads here, they don't want to pay them the extra cash to make them work at night when it's not 90 degrees outside and there's no traffic. So they got to do it in the middle of the day during premium hours, so they don't have to pay them the nighttime overtime.
That is true, because that's all.
I would rather work at night. Last week I went and ran wire at night because I didn't want to be up in someone's attic in the middle of the day when it's 98 degrees and 120 in the attic. So I waited until 9 o'clock when it was 79 outside and only 95 degrees in the attic. But, you know, work smarter, not harder, I guess.
Amanda Stemma said, once my dad opened our septic tank for
What?
the company. That's disgusting, because I guess he refused to let them do it. And my neighbor jumped in and decided to go swimming. Worst day of my life.
Oh, Jesus. Oh.
A Labrador jumped in and went swimming. That is funny.
Dad was
That sounds about like what a dog would do.
Dad was telling me one time when he was growing up in Kentucky, I guess our grandfather had a bunch of property for a short period of time. And apparently one of his buddies didn't want to pay the offload fee for a septic truck. And I guess he offered my grandfather a few bucks if he could offload it at the back of the property. And my dad said it was the worst fucking smell ever, and it lasted for months. Dude went back to the back of their, 10 acres and just completely dumped a full honey wag in the back of the field. Didn't even bother to, obviously if you're pinching pennies because you don't want to pay to offload a honey wagon, you're definitely not going to rent a front loader to cover that shit up, literally. Oh.
Cover that shit up.
The worst thing I ever experienced, and Dave and I talked about this a few months back. I won't get into the full details, but I was like 15, and I was staying with my mom in the summertime, and me and my cousin went over to his dad's house in Indiana.
Oh, I remember.
And
this
apparently his dickhead neighbor decided to shoot my uncle's dog, German Shepherd, and my uncle couldn't bring himself to take care of the problem. And so a week and a half later, in hot Kentucky July, the job was given to me and my cousin to go over to Meyer and get a couple of tarps and some shovels and black flies. It was just
You didn't but pick up so you picked up tarps and shovels. You didn't pick up any duct tape and tie.
no, we got
wires.
rope, but no, when we went to flip that thing over onto it just fell apart. It was just a giant mountain of maggots. So that's the worst smell thing I ever.
I think I would have lost my
horrible.
lunch, breakfast, and dinner the night before.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it's pretty damn gross.
Pretty
So
freaking gross.
we all know that Hollywood's lazy, and they haven't written any original scripts in a long time. That's why
Really?
they remake movies.
Yeah.
We know The Office came from England, the original show, The Office.
So did Shameless.
Shameless. Did you ever watch Cash Cab back in the day?
Oh yes, in New York
Yep.
with the New Yorker. Yeah, I'm sure that came from.
Well, I used to watch a
Somewhere
lot
else.
of Cash Cab back when Carrie and I first got together because we couldn't afford cable. We had basic cable, so we watched a lot of Cash Cab. And at Computer Shop about 2 weeks ago, we were working on Anthony, who's an OG5 member, his water-cooled gaming PC, and his video card only supported HDMI. And I got tired of every time I get these gaming computers going out trying to find adapters, make HDMI, convert to VGA. And I finally went to Walmart and saw they had like a 32-inch on TV for like $80. I'm like, well, after the time, money, so I just bought that damn thing and used it as a monitor. So I mounted it on the wall, and it's Roku. And so I hooked up to Wi-Fi, and so now I have a TV playing in the background where I'm working. And so I was flipping through, and I saw Cash Cab. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. There's the logo of a whole boy from New York. The first season and a half is Cash Cab Liverpool.
Really?
Yeah, it's like 2003.
Same host?
No, different host, because clearly we stole the idea from them. But, they have their little black, what do they call their little, they're not lorries. What do they call, they have a name for their cabs over there. I forget what they're called. But anyhow, they're all identical, just like ours. But because this is actually like 2002, 2003, instead of having the cool like headliner like the New York version has, there's just little LED bulbs like drilled holes into all the housing along the seat covers and all that shit. So you can get in, it's just these little hokey like blinking LED lights and apparently, now if you guys have never seen Cash Cab, the one in New York, the host reads you the questions as he's driving down the street because he has a producer in the van reading to him in an earpiece, and he just simply regurgitates what the producer in the van behind him says.
Hey, real quick, English term. Is it a hack, a hackney, a jitney, a taxi, or taxi cab?
Not the name for a cab, but the actual
Or a
vehicle.
carriage?
I don't know. They actually have a name for the vehicles themselves, but anyhow, it doesn't really matter. What's interesting about the early version, and the fact, I guess this probably has a lot to do with the British street laws, he doesn't read the question to him. It plays an audible clip of a woman
Can't take
reading,
your eyes off the road, man.
but he will say yes, no, correct. You won $4,000 coming up. He does all the rest of the narration, but the physical questions are actually played to him through a recording. But it's so fun to see him pulling out the old flip phones and all this shit. And of course, they're in Liverpool, so one of the questions: what was George Bush's middle name?
Which George Bush?
William? No. What? And you got the question, Walker. Oh, she's like, Walker, what kind of name is that? No wonder they never said his name. They always said George W. Bush because they're over in Liverpool. So, just hearing some of these questions, but just seeing like the early 2000s styles, which really haven't changed from now, but it's the technology, it's the cell phone, it's the real large blinky LED lights throughout the thing. But apparently I haven't gotten to that point, but I think around season 3 or 4, they're going to switch over to the American version. But it's interesting to see the differences and how rudimentary the graphics were. We're borderline on like hand-drawn cartoons of the cab showing how much further they have to get to their destination. But it's like,
Yep.
how much shit do we steal from England and make it our own? Apparently a
Everything. Hell, half our actors are from England.
lot. Ain't that the truth? House.
The British invasion, House, Rick Grimes, you name it. Real quick, I wanted to do a quick 3 questions with you
Okay.
because I'm getting old, and I mean, slang's
you
always
are,
been neat. I've always
bastard.
appreciated language. I think you have too, with different ways to say things in different regions of the world, or with different cliques or groups that you're with. You're a gamer. You consider yourself a gamer, correct?
Uh-huh.
All right, I'm going to read the definition. And then I want you to tell me what is the word. And there's a reason why this came up, because there's something that was said a couple of weeks back when we were playing that made me look into this. And this is a term. This first one is a term that's used when a player who has great experience in a video game creates a new account for the purpose of disguising themselves as new players so they can use their skills to defeat the innocent opponents.
Is that the ghost account?
Actually, it's called Smurf or smurfing.
Yeah, Carrie has a Smurf account for Overwatch.
And then what kind of player does not have the proper skills but believes that he or she is the best player in the world
It's not a noob. It's a
or better than expected during the game? We've heard this term before, especially in basketball.
goat
Scrub.
scrub. Okay.
I got 2 more. This one is a common nickname for any player that decides to act like Rambo on the battlefield, acting rashly without talking to consideration of concept of caution. Kind of like
Run and gun.
run and gun. That's not it.
Really?
Simply put, they are playing in their own rules. Your daughter does this when we're playing, and diving into danger without any regards or consequences for the safety of themselves or their team.
What's the term?
Leroy Jenkins.
Never heard of that. Why is it called Leroy Jenkins?
Their origin and name goes back to a viral video of a character from the game World of Warcraft named Leroy Jenkins, which he screams out his name before ignorantly charging headlong into the battle and killing everyone in his team. So this is all coming from Kaplan College, by the way.
You know, there is actually a shit ton on here of shows that we ripped off from England, but a lot of
Yep.
you never heard of. Obviously, X Factor was. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? We knew. Never heard of that one. Weakest Link. Undercover
America Got
Boss.
Talent. Yeah.
You ever watch Undercover Boss?
I have watched it. Yes.
That's a pretty decent show. Top Gear, which I knew about. All in the Family, I didn't know was stolen from there. Veep was. Teachers, Taskmaster, Dancing with the Stars makes sense. Sanford and Son. That's interestingly.
That is interesting.
It was actually the European version was called Steptoe and Son. I don't know if it's about a black family. I can't say African American because it was over in England.
Could be about a pikey.
Yeah, there you go. Do you like dogs? Junkyard Wars I used to watch. Secret Millionaire. Queer as Folk makes sense. This list is like a lot of old. Cosby Show, huh? Interesting. The original one was called One Foot in a Grave. Obviously, The Office we knew. Master
What
Chef.
about Community? Did Community come from over there?
Love Island, Life on Mars. I never heard of that one. But yeah, there's a bunch of them. Interestingly enough, Cash Cab's not listed on here. Football Wives, which that makes sense. And probably about soccer over there. Faking It, Dog Eat Dog. But anyhow, I digress. You're about ready for the news?
Let's do the news.
News and shit. News and shit. Now here's Gordon with some news and shit. What's going on, John Kraft? Checking in on OG5.
Joining us now from the Digital 410 West News Desk in Las Vegas, Nevada, Gordon Abernathy.
What's going on there, Gordon?
Well, one thing I'm glad we don't have out here is a big cicada problem. Yes, we did have a big grasshopper problem last year, short-lived. But
When was the huge? Remember, like, the media must have been like a slow news year. I think it was probably like in the early 90s, late 80s when the cicada are coming. They've been
Oh, yeah, like the
hibernating under the
17
ground. Yeah, it was like the fucking second coming of, they're going to eat all our crops. It's the sign of the apocalypse. When
yeah, I
was
think it's
that?
like a 17-year brood. I think
Yeah.
TJ or some of the people back home.
We lived in
would
Ohio
know.
during that. I remember that.
Yeah, it was nasty. It seemed like it was worse near Cincinnati. Well, imagine this. Zombie cicadas infected with a psychedelic fungus can survive without most of their bodies.
Ugh.
So, we all obviously know about the whole zombie thing and feeding on people's brains, but but unfortunately for these cicadas, that horror is just really not that big of a stretch.
Yeah.
A mind-controlling fungus is spreading among the insects across the south, eating away at their bodies while still allowing them to fly about. This is the south, so this could affect you possibly. According to the researchers at West Virginia University, hopefully they're not drinking too much moonshine on this one, a study published last month in the Journal of PLOS, or Pathogens, titled Behavioral Betrayal, and how select fungus parasites enlist living insects to do their bidding. I'm thinking of all sorts of cartoons right now. Details on this effect of the fungus on the cicadas and its unique method of spreading. So the fungus is called Massapora, and it causes the male cicada to flick its wings like females in order to attract other males. Okay, they're tranny now. WVU told, according to WVU, the fungus's spores rot away the insect's genitals. Oh my God, this is horrible. And abdomen, and replaces it with fungal spores, according to KDKA. Holy crap, now I'm thinking.
He did it again. Caused trouble. Hurt someone's feelings. Yet he didn't want to do it.
I did nothing wrong.
Yes, troublesome
Oh.
people are
Tranny
often
comment.
people in trouble. They may be mentally ill. Find out how you can help. Write Better Mental Health, Box 3000, New York 1, New York.
I disagree with this guy. Anyway, the Massapora massacre parasite host system functions and partly as a sexually transmitted infection. So imagine if this happened
Wow,
to human
cicadas can't even get one off without getting an STD, huh?
beings. Yeah, but then it rots away their body and it replaces it with fungus spores. I mean, this is...
It's good enough for Russians doing it. Remember that zombie drug they were doing for a while? It was rotting away their skin and shit. Early
I don't remember
mid
that.
2000s, yeah. There's like this drug going around over in Russia, and they're taking it. And it would like make the skin on their calves rot away. Pretty crazy shit.
That is gross. So they're only zombies in a sense the fungus is in control of their bodies, according to Matt Casson, an assistant professor of forest pathology and one of the study's authors. Infected adults maintain or accelerate normal host activity during sporulation. There's a word for you today, sporulation, enabling rapid and widespread dispersal prior to the host death. So, yuck. That's absolutely
Have you heard of the
scary.
zombie salmon? Yeah, it's I was trying to look it up, but it started playing a YouTube clip. That's what the that sound was. I'm trying. Let's see, the swimming dead video, zombie fish. I'm trying to see what the actual cause of it is, but yeah, basically these salmon. They're like salmon who swim. They're still alive, but they're basically rotting as they go. They look. You just gotta Google zombie salmon, but yeah, they're slowly decaying as they are swimming. And so when like you're salmon fishing in Alaska, and you think you got one online, you pull it up, it's already a half dead, half rotten fish. It still has enough nervous system and enough life in it to keep on swimming, but it's pretty damn gross.
Yeah, let's not have another thing jump to human beings from animals.
right.
Because you think COVID was bad. All right, so moving on to a story we alluded to earlier. Gender reveal party. Because they're big.
Can we
They're
stop?
very important in an era when they don't want you really to identify the gender of people or decide for them. Sparks a fast-growing California wildfire.
Again.
Last one I believe was what was it called? It was right here. It was called the Sawmill Fire in Arizona.
Yeah, it was
Back in
caused by
2017.
tannerite. It was 47,000 acres.
So this fast-growing wildfire east of San Bernardino, and it's the smoke we got today, was caused by an explosive used during a gender reveal party. Okay, we all know that the West is burning down right now. Who is the jackass who said, it's not a problem. We'll throw explosives off. But anyway, this was what was used during the gender reveal party, according to the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection. As of Sunday night, the fire had burned more than 7,000 acres. It went off Saturday morning when a smoke generating pyrotechnic device at the party sparked flames. Wildfire broke out around 10:20 a.m. Pacific time, spreading to the areas further north and triggering mandatory evacuations, and now has been dubbed the El Dorado Fire. It's doubled its size yesterday, and it's only about 5% contained as of now, but it's insane what people will do. They don't.
Do you know who's to blame for the trend of gender reveal parties? Who thought pretty highly of herself up until now? Apparently, it's this chick named Jenna Carvedonius, some Greek chick apparently. Let's see. Back in 2008 on Facebook, her and her husband decided to do a gender reveal where they cut open the cake and it was pink inside, right? Yay! And that kind of blew up, and it's blew up ever since. Well, because she's credited for starting this whole fad, CNN had to reach out to her. CNN, the woman best known for popularizing the gender reveal party, has a message for the world. Quote, please stop. Quote, stop having these stupid parties. For the love of God, stop burning things down to tell everyone about your kid's penis. No one cares but you, she wrote. That says a whole lot about her than it does anybody else. Just because it was a boy baby, you stop telling everyone about your kid's penis. Okay, I feel sorry for her husband. Imagine living under that roof.
Stop showing me your penis.
This isn't the first time gender reveal party has led to catastrophe. So when she's doing it, it's cool because she had a little girl. But now I agree, they stop doing it because it's a stupid fucking tradition. Just stop doing it. But it's the whole attacking the young baby. The whole line about no one cares about your kid's penis is like, really? I'm sure she's a Karen of the highest order.
She's a super Karen.
It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, and what's weird is, in a day where they don't want you to judge by gender, that's still going on. So are they going to ever do one that's just both? And it's twins now.
It's just purple, dude.
Purple? Was that it? Purple?
Red and blue is purple, right? Or pink and blue. What's pink and blue? That's a darker purple, I reckon.
I don't know. I'm not in touch with my colors that well anymore. So,
from the shocking files, hold on to your seats, ladies and gentlemen. Pornographic film star Ron Jeremy has been charged with sexually assaulting 13 more women, the Los Angeles County District Attorney Office said on Monday, bringing the total number of alleged victims to 17. That's not the Ron Jeremy we all know. The new charges include accusations of Mr. Jeremy, who is now a 67-year-old sexually assaulted a 15-year-old girl in a party back in 2004. He was charged with lewd conduct and sexually penetration by a foreign object in that case. An additional accusation, some of them involving multiple charges, expanded the case against the actor. Do we have to call him an actor? He was like in, what, Boondock Saints? He's a porn star. He's not a fucking actor. He's in one acting gig. The total
he's one of the creepiest looking of all time.
He's just nasty. But first and foremost, okay, back in 2004, okay, so what, he was 50-something at the time? Who's allowing this old crotchety dude at a party with a 15-year-old girl unless she's at a party she's not that I'm just saying, why the hell would a 15-year-old even want to be in the same room with that sick turd? But yeah, none of this is surprising at all that this is going on. I'll be honest with you, I didn't hear about the first 18 charges, just the new 13. But there's a picture of him looking in the courtroom. He's definitely looking his age now. That's just gross, man. What the fuck's wrong with people?
It's everything.
Well, I mean, but that seriously says something about... Here's a guy who, up until his late 50s, I mean, back in 2004, I'm sure he was still, quote-unquote, producing film. Clearly...
Oh, I'm sure he is full Weinstein when he goes to produce films.
I know, but my point is, you're at a party, you're already getting paid to have sex. You probably doing a couple videos a month. How fucked in the head are you that you need to be sexually assaulting people? Well, at all, let alone in your free time. But oftentimes when you think about these sick fucks, you think these are weird degenerates who don't have access, this and that. And clearly, that's not the case. Here's a guy who does it professionally. He's still out. I don't know. I just don't get people.
To be fair, to be a porn actor, don't you kind of have to be a weird degenerate anyway?
Yeah, but once again, you're getting paid to have sex on a semi-regular basis, I would assume, especially if you're a quote-unquote legend like him. I mean, this guy's been doing it since the 70s.
Well, maybe it's one of those things where, like,
I don't know.
The regular... and I'm not backing him up. This is just how carried away things can get is what he normally used to doing just doesn't flip his cookie anymore. Now he's got to do horrible, horrible things. And It's another example of overdoing something, right?
Now he's all what? This isn't socially acceptable? I've been getting paid. No, dude. You're at a party. She's a minor. That's not socially acceptable. Leave your work at work, you sick fuck.
Like Herbert from the fucking Family Guys.
Yeah, hopefully he spends the rest of his life in jail, because that's just gross.
Yep, I'm done with that. So Labor Day crowds.
Uh-huh.
Looks like Vegas and Fort Myers is having a similar instance. So while Labor Day crowds don't compare to what they have seen on Independence Days, there's still huge crowds that can be found on Fort Myers Beach with little or no social distancing.
According to who?
Well, right, exactly.
Well, the only reason I asked, now once again,
a 6-year-old thinks it's pretty crowded.
I said at the top of the show I didn't go to the beaches this weekend because I knew it'd be crowded. But last week's show, you heard me say for the last 3 weekends we've been to Sanibel, and there is nobody sitting anywhere remote to 6 feet closer than the two people they didn't come to the beach with. If you rode in the same goddamn car to the beach, no one expects you to sit 6 feet apart. You're already shared, cohabitated in a confined space on the way to the beach, but no one is sitting their party 6 feet, less than 6 feet. First and foremost, one, because of COVID, but two, who the hell wants to be that close to a random group of strangers when you're laying out half naked anyhow?
Yeah, and then you got your Karens out there talking about, like the co-owner of Mango's Ritas in Fort Myers Beach, just Times Square, is worried that people are too relaxed partying without masks, so on and so forth. And this is just it. I think we've had a butt full. Even the people who are freaked out, I think, have had a butt full by now.
Well, in the same stations on Friday before the holiday weekend, they were down there at Fort Myers Beach. Boy, we sure hope everybody comes down here this weekend. We really need it because no one's been coming down here. So now that they're down there, then the same news story. Hey, there's too many people down here.
Yeah, well, the same thing. So I was actually surprised because, maybe I'm not, because I think most of these people are probably from California and they're really sick as shit right now. But Fremont Street was effing packed this weekend. I was watching video of it, and it was very, very similar to a regular time. And what the problem is we're seeing some inconsistencies in our laws, right?
Well, I was going to say, maybe now people realize that an 89-year-old Nancy Pelosi is not too concerned with getting her hair blown out without wearing a face mask, and even though she's the one to pass the laws to make that shit illegal, they're like, screw it, let's go down to Fremont Street. We're outside.
One of the inconsistent things we've got going on here is taverns and bars that don't serve food cannot be open. Now, why is it? And that's just it. Why is it that you can have this go down on Fremont Street? People are partying right next to each other, but we can't have our bar open, right?
Because
you're not allowed to have live music. But then the governor of Sisolak was at a restaurant that had a live band as ambient music. Oh, he caught some shit for it, but he tried to flip it around. It's like, dude.
Did he say he was set up?
No, he didn't say he was set up. He said he called it ambient music. So now what is it? Now you're allowed to have live music if you don't charge a cover charge, and it's just...
No, you have live music. You just put one of those Asian screens in front of them so you can't see the band play. Now it's ambient music. It's background noise. And plus you're in Vegas, so it all comes down to the food lobby and the casino lobby paying off all the politicians. The bar owners like...
Well... And to be fair, that is the largest economic engine in this state. So,
by the way,
if
anybody in Southwest Florida knows Mr. Joseph Holland, tell him thanks. When we opened At Computers in 2004, Mr. Holland had been giving out our phone number for years when he decides to open up an account and not pay his bills. And so we'd often get phone calls, quite often from bill collectors, from Mr. Holland. Is Joseph Holland there? This shit went on for like 6 years and finally stopped. Till last week, I got a phone call looking for Mr. Holland, and I told the bill collector, I said, thanks, man. I said, I haven't had a phone call for this guy in about 6 years, and in 14 years I've had this phone number. But nice to see he's back up to his old tricks, writing new credit cards, using my phone number, So Joseph Holland, please stop giving out my phone number when you're filling out applications for bills you have no intention to pay, because I'm tired of talking to your bill collectors, dick.
That goes on with Katina. There's a lady that's doing the same stuff, and she'll go to a store and I say, well, which number? Who are you? She goes, my name's Katina. Remove the other. Well, we can't just remove them from the list.
Yeah.
Even for like Petco rewards cards, and stuff like
How
that.
long has she had
Stephanie
that phone
Martinez,
number?
and I will rat her out because we were actually called from the funeral home. Evidently, there was a funeral that she was paying for, and Katina was this close to going down there and stirring up some shit.
Oh, I
was like,
would have.
No.
And how long have you had that phone number though?
We still get calls on it. I think she's had that phone number damn near 17 years.
Yeah, so we've had this one since 2003. And so that's
Yeah.
how long he's been up to. He took a good 4 or 5 years off, but yep. I just got my first phone call again from Mr. Joseph Holland last week. Man, when that name came up, it's like, oh, I started getting all these flashbacks to just constantly, like 3 times a week answering his phone calls. And it's like, oh.
Sounds like the kind of guy that would be scamming unemployment right now too, probably using the same phone number.
I don't
Just
get
saying.
these cats, man. If you're a business owner, and we talked about this 2-3 weeks ago, you think your business applies for a PPP loan, and you get a huge check? You don't think the IRS is going to keep an eye on your name and your credit? These cats going out and buying high-end cars and boats and fucking yachts and shit and houses and getting
Trips
caught.
to Vegas and gambling.
It's
yeah.
like I said, when we got our PP loan, I actually opened a different bank account, put it in there, and transferred the money each week for the exact total sum of the paycheck I was paying, so that if someone comes and check, you'll see, look, here's all the money that's going to put in there, and each week, this amount for this check was. These cats,
These fuckers, they do more than skim. They just straight up take the whole fucking ball of wax.
it's like, so it's 2020.
Yeah, copper, you can't catch me.
The
And they're out
economy's
the fucking door.
The economy's in a shithole. You applied for a PPP loan. But you just bought a $73,000 boat. Where'd you get that money? My business had it, or I got a bonus. Really? I just don't get what people are thinking. How do these people even run a semi-successful business to begin with?
They're scamming left and right.
Yeah, we had a guy down here called Bruno Air. He was like, by the time he was like late 20s, he was like in the Millionaire magazine for up and comers and this and that. And long story short, he's into Pokey and a Clink right now for scamming people, and I think he was getting people to sign documents for maintenance contracts, whatever, and then using their signature to buy shit. He did a whole bunch of crazy shit that he just completely destroyed lots and lots of people in this town. It's just like, I don't know how people think they're going to get away with this. Even if you've been doing it for 10 years, you're not going to get away with it. It's insane.
Yes, it is. Absolutely insane. So that's about all I got for newsy type things.
Newsy type things.
Joining us now from the Digital 410
We
West.
need an outro for that. I still don't have an outro. Anyhow, thanks, Gordon, for the newsy type things. And thank you guys for joining us for another episode of the What's in Your Head podcast. I'd already say the What's the Scuttlebutt podcast. By the way, if you're a TikTok fan and you follow Story Times with Papa Jake, download this week's episode of the What's the Scuttlebutt podcast. It just came out, episode 2 with Grandpa Jake talking about his time from D-Day all the way up into the Battle of the Bulge is out. Head over to WTSPWorldWar2.com. You can download episode 1 and 2, or you can also find that podcast and all the podcasts here on the Digital 410 Network over at iTunes, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere fine podcast or discovered, except for on Pandora, because they wanted me to fill out a 28-page manifesto. Why my shit? But anyhow, I digress. Anyhow, Gordon, where can people find you?
I can be found at Aegis1974 on Instagram, Gordon at D-410 on Facebook, and Abernathy.Gordon on Twitter.
Or you can simply head over to d-410.com, click on that new social media link, and we'll have the links to all of our social media, and you can also get merch there, get t-shirts, and help support the show that way. And once again, sign up for Patreon. And thank you guys for joining us this week. We're not sure there'll be an episode next week. If everything goes as planned, I should be heading up to North Carolina on Thursday for a Living History event, tactical event that's going to last until Sunday. So maybe we'll do a Monday show. But if not, we'll talk to you all soon. Thank you guys so much. And remember, if you never get out of your comfort zone, you'll never get out of bed. So go out and challenge yourself. Enjoy your life, because you only get one go around on this big blue ball that we call planet Earth. Thank you guys so much, and we will talk to you soon.
This has been a Digital 410 production.